I said a shoulder to cry on is. You asked me if she comes to you. A shoulder to cry on is something to ride on.
Okay, gotcha.
But anyway, let's give her some advice before we clap. Um,
My boyfriend of almost 3 years went on vacation and came back a married man. How do I move forward?
wait a second. Is he African? I'm pretty sure this sounds like he's African. This sounds like an African.
And I quote, out of Reddit, I need advice. I need advice. This situation is long and complicated, so please bear with me. I'm a 24-year-old female, and I met my 26-year-old boyfriend 3 years ago. He offered me a ride after a party, and we've been inseparable ever since. Maybe it was a dating party. He's Middle Eastern, not African.
Oh,
And I am a Latina. Notice, guys, it says Latina, not a Latinx. Please stop the nonsense. Because I was always very cautious, making sure no boundaries were crossed. No pun intended, I guess, right? He was very honest and told me he wasn't looking for anything serious. At the time, I felt the same way. I seemed like a good fit. I waited a few weeks before being intimate with him. But when I did, it was by far the best intimate experience I've ever had by a long shot. 6 months later, he asked me if I was seeing anyone else. 6 months later, you ask, okay.
wow.
I returned the question and he said no. I told him I wasn't seeing another either, and I didn't need anyone else. We smiled, kissed, and that was our way of becoming exclusive. Or so you assumed, ma'am. But okay. 1 year later, I have a key to his condo, and my parents allow me to stay at the night at his place on weekends. This woman is 24-year-old.
Oh my god. You're getting real raw by this guy, and still you need permission by your parents. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. He's briefly met my parents, and on my birthday, he bought me a Mercedes. I'd like to add that he never officially asked me to be his girlfriend. A few months ago, he informed me he would need to go back home for a family matter. Huh. No kidding. His father had been very insistent. Days before he left, I found him in the kitchen looking sad, so I went over to hug him. I told him everything would be okay. He kissed me, but not like he always did. This was different. We went to the bedroom and we made love for the first time. Huh?
What the? Oh yeah.
I'm so confused right now.
He was poking her without love before.
Yeah, that's what she means, because she then goes on to say not sex but love.
Yeah.
So the previous one were just okay. I get it. Oh, you're the love doctor now. Okay, yeah.
I'm a man of many talents.
I've seen you juggle 8 bottles of baby oils at one point. That's pretty impressive. Afterwards, he looked me in the
that's
eye.
also something I can do. Ladies, call me. Don't expect a freak off though.
Afterwards, he looked me in the eye and told
Here
him,
back when we get these double thought millions and try to sue me for some change.
Afterwards, he looked me in the eye and told me he loved me. I was crying at this point, and I told him I loved him too. We had never said it. We never said I love you before. So last month he left. We texted and had a few short calls, but by the 3rd week, I'd only get 2 texts a day. Morning, good night. Without warning, as I'm getting off work, I walk out the building and see him standing next to his car. I run to him, hug him, and kiss him. That's when he said we needed to talk. We went into his car, and after a long silence, he said that the reason his father wanted him to go back home is to meet the girl he wanted him to marry. I was shocked, but said nothing. He continued by saying his father had arranged the marriage between the families a while back. I know it should have clicked right there and then, but I was waiting for him to finish. To tell me he fought with his family for me, for us. But he said nothing. He finally looked at me and said, "I'm sorry." I left the car in tears. He followed me apologizing, saying he didn't have a choice. He even said his wife knows about me and she knows he loves me. He wants me to hear him out, but I'm so angry at him. But most of all, I'm angry at myself. I feel like if I talk to him, I'll turn into everything I despise, a woman who doesn't know her worth and will betray herself in order to keep a man. I keep replaying that last week before he left over and over in my head. Maybe if he hadn't made love to me, maybe if he'd never said I love you, maybe I could move on. But he said those things, knowing he was about to marry someone else. Maybe I'm looking too much into it, but the timing is setting off red flags. I'm always crying and I'm afraid to fall into depression. I feel like I need help to get myself under control, but how can I move forward, KaiR? So this lady comes to you and asks you this question. What would be your advice?
They always say a shoulder to cry on is something to ride on. What?
What did you say?
Mute. I said a shoulder to cry on is, you asked me if she comes to you, a shoulder to cry on is something to ride on.
Okay, got you.
But anyway, let's give her some advice before we clap.
What did Cam said? I'm about to get some cheeks after this one.
Hey man. So we are dealing here with this is the complication when you're dealing with in relationships with different cultures. Obviously he chose for his culture, his background, and that's the complications a lot of times you see, where people might feel the pressure to choose for the family. They break. They might fight, like you said. Maybe he fought, maybe he didn't. Who knows? But sometimes people put you under pressure, and you can't hold on. Maybe he gets some money from the family that he used to buy you that Mercedes, and he doesn't want to lose that. I mean, that income. So he chooses himself rather than choosing for you. So don't feel bad for yourself. I mean, technically, he never said you were boyfriend or girlfriend. Technically. Well.
But you know what, KaiR? I think a lot of people don't see it officially, right? A lot of people, they just are with each other.
That is true.
To be honest, I find it a bit corny as well to say, do you want to be my?
It's like
you can have the discussion, right? Are we exclusive? Are we exclusive? The dude clearly knew why.
Did he say yes when she asked him?
No, no, they just said
they're gonna be exclusive.
They weren't seeing anyone else at that moment, but they never said let's be exclusive.
Okay. I never saw anyone else, so he never lied to her.
Yeah, exactly. But he didn't say that we are exclusive.
He didn't see his bride until he stood at the altar.
Yeah. And so that's. But he knew, so this is my point. You knew that you, as a man, you know that you're going abroad to get married, or that has something to do with marriage. You then make sure that before you leave, not only to give her the best night of her life, but then to say I love you, I love you. That's a a-hole move.
Yeah, that is. That is.
Why would you do that?
Get her digmatized? Because then you have a side chick. Because he doesn't really love the person he married. He wants to have
No.
he wants to have the girl as a second option. It's like a Hail Mary.
Yeah, but at the same time, I have to say that this lady, she's 24, but she's talking like a kid. Saying my parents allow me to sleep over, but you're an adult.
You ain't
So-
clap all the time.
I think in her case, she just needs to. So the whole side chick thing is one thing, right? But as a 24-year-old, you clearly love the man, and you're still like you're an adult, but you're still not maybe fully matured. You shouldn't be making these types of decisions. Just move on, go through the pain. That's what you need to do, KR. But it's a a-hole move to tell someone, you know what, I love you, while you know that next time you see that person, you'll be married.
Yeah, that's crazy.